All right, folks, it is abundantly clear that we have a lot of people who have no concept of American history, who literally know nothing about the history of this country, the history of the Republican Party, and the history of the Democratic Party. Yes, I saw those ridiculous comments made by Nick Cannon and Amber Rose and a bunch of other people who repeat that nonsense. And so, you're going to see a deconstruction tonight on Roland Martin Unfiltered, while I walk you through the actual history of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party when it comes to black voters. Watch at 6 p.m. Eastern, Roland Martin Unfiltered. Go to our YouTube channel or Black Star Network app. School will be in session. You better take notes.
So here we go. Nick Cannon and Amber Rose was in the car driving down the road. And Nick Cannon made a controversial statement that the Democrats are upset about. And he talked about the Democrats was the party of the KKK. He went all the way back to the 1800s, right? And, he was saying that our peoples were Republicans. And a lot of Democrats are upset. Roland Martin, he's saying that school is going to be in session tonight. He's coming with the smoke. Everybody's upset. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a demonstration, and we're going to show the broken promises of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party to the African-American community. Both of them have been listed with broken promises. Now, you guys have to bear with me. They're doing some work out front, but I got to do my work in here, right? So there's some trucks out there doing some work, but the work can't stop just because they out there, right? So let's just try to go through that, right? But a lot of Democrats is butthurt over this, man. They upset, man. They want Nick Cannon's head on a chopping block. Let's share the screen and let's get off into some of this stuff, man. And let's look at why they're so upset and some of the things that they're saying. Man, let's look at this. Let's look at this.
Public celebrities should not participate in public conversations unless you are well versed on the topic that is being discussed. I don't care if it's pop culture. I don't care if it's historical.
Well, she's saying celebrities shouldn't speak, but my whole thing is you're on TikTok talking. Are you well versed? What do you know? Because I hear a lot of Democratic women, and I got to be honest, say, well, y'all voted for the wrong person, as if voting for the Democrats was the right people. As if voting for them would overrunning you with immigrants and telling you you're not even a woman no more and forcing a whole bunch of other stuff as if that was the right choice. Neither one of them was really the right choice.
Vince, I don't care if it's political conversations. If you are not well versed in those topics, you should refrain from having public conversations about said topics. Which leads me to believe that these people know better, right? You've been famous a long time. So now I'm starting to wonder, do you say things to get engagement, to get attention, to have people watch your podcast? Like, are these things being intentionally said for those reasons? Because at this juncture, you would have to know better. Because I think it's a difference from having an opinion about something than you discussing an historical event and then only telling part of the event. Like, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story.
Well, what's the whole story? See, that's my whole thing. A lot of these Democrats just be on here running their mouth. It's just like being at the church when the preacher's preaching and you get up there with the Holy Ghost, but you don't know nothing about the scripture. You don't know nothing about the word, right? You don't know how to read the Bible, but all you do is go to church to hear the preacher preach, right? What do she know, right? All she doing is just rant, right? Let's look over here at this
dude. Watching Nick Cannon and Chili from TLC go the whole basically Republican Trump route. But then again, if there's a group of people that are 1,000,000% going to let you down, it's rich black people. They always going to choose the money over their own people and culture any day because they don't want to lose what they got.
Let me ask y'all a question. I'm going to be honest. It's more regular black people than rich black people, right? What do the majority of those people do? See, the majority of the sellouts in the black community is our own people, your neighbors right next to you. How many of you have worked with your neighbor or people within the black community to change our circumstances, right? Forget waiting on athletes and entertainers. We got the money. We in our own communities. We could change our own communities. It's millions of us, right, that can do it. But y'all always speaking on, because the bar is so low, y'all always thinking these athletes and entertainers can do it. No, you can do it right in your own community. Tariq Nasheed raised $250,000 in like 2 weeks, right, to do that movie. We got the money to do the things that we need to do, right? We got the money, but we always looking outside for everybody else to come help us. That's the democratic way of thinking, man.
It's sad, but when they cry out for help, we just gonna sit back and watch because you chose to sold out your own people for what? For a group of people that don't give a damn about you? Okay. Have it your way.
And I guess the Democrats give it. Oh, hold on for a second. Hold on. Let's go back. My bad. Let's go back. Let's listen to what he said.
It's sad, but when they cry out for help, we just gonna sit back and watch because you chose to sold out your own people for what? For a group of people that don't give a damn about you?
So just because he's black, he's supposed to align with the way you think? If not, he canceled? Oh, yeah, well, y'all doing the same thing y'all was accusing Trump. Y'all doing the same thing y'all been accusing Trump and them of doing, right? So let's look at just exactly why everybody's in the uproar, what everybody's in the uproar about. Let's look at what this whole thing is about. Check this out.
Part of the Republican Party.
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that
No.
you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now? Or?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
And they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do. And that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
man.
don't know.
Now, I disagree. I don't think that neither one of them give a damn about black people. They just have black people on the string, right? And black people have no other plan of action, so they just go with either party. And they'll often tell you, well, you got to pick the lesser of two evils. You got to pick this. She's a grifter. She's moving around wherever she can move to, right? She was young. She was young about 15 years ago, so she was using her pretty privilege. Now she's older, so now she's looking for the older, rich white man. So she run over there to the Republican Party. So nobody takes her serious or pays her any mind. Like, she's not somebody that anybody listens to.
Know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to either party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I listen, I'm not married to any party.
right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Cleaning house.
Yeah.
He doing
But
what he said he was going to do.
guess what? If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah.
I'm
We
not.
got the Gulf of America now.
Period.
He charging, he's like the club. He's charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen. But guess what?
Now, this is the thing. A lot of people are upset with that, with that video, right? That came out. They are angry. But a lot of people are miseducated too when it comes to these things, man. So, we have to look at, the history, the disrespect and the history of the Republican and Democratic Party and how they've let us down on so many different levels, right? So when we get here and we come here, we talk about the historical and political promises to Black Americans from both the Democrat and Republican parties is characterized by periods of intense activism followed by reversals, legislative compromises, or indifferences, often referred to as broken promises or betrayals. While the parties have shifted in ideological alignment over the past 150 years, both have presided over failures to deliver economic equality, voting rights, and social justice. Republican Party from abolition to withdrawal, Reconstruction, betrayal. 1870, following the Civil War, the Republican Party was formed to eradicate slavery and protect Black rights, right? However, to secure the presidency in 1877, Republican leadership agreed to the removal to remove federal troops from the South, abandoning Black Americans, to the rise of Jim Crow voter suppression and terror by the Ku Klux Klan. 40 acres and a mule, failures of failures. The Freedoms Borough, initially supported by Republicans to provide land and resources to free people, saw its efforts severely undermined and its land returned to the Confederate owners. Let down by the Republicans, right? Abandoned in the 20th century by 1920s and 30s, the GOP grew indifferent to black needs, with President Herbert Hoover actively alienating Black leaders to attract Southern white support. Democratic Party, from segregation to structural inequality, anti-civil rights era, 19th to 20th to mid-20th century. For nearly a century, the Democratic Party was the main vehicle for white supremacy in the South, opposing the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments and creating the separate but equal system of Jim Crow. Wilson's disappointment. President Woodrow Wilson promised justice, not mere grudging justice, to Black voters in 1912, but once in office, his administration segregated federal agencies, fired Black civil servants, and appointed white Democrats to positions previously held by Black people. New Deal exclusions. While attracting Black voters during the Great Depression, these are the Democrats now, right? President Franklin D. Roosevelt failed to support any anti-lynching bill and allowed New Deal agricultural policies to disproportionately displace Black farmers. They had no anti-lynching bill, nothing to protect the Black people. So now we have these colossal historical failures of the Democrat and Republican Party. Despite high-level support from Black voters, the party has often failed to deliver major legislation such as the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, leading to disillusionment, right? So then you get the commercial, common historical themes and broken promises. The Second Amendment betrayal, 1860. The 14th Amendment failed to immediately protect the rights of Black citizens as Supreme Court decisions, right? As Supreme Court decisions and lack of enforcement allowed states to bypass federal protections. The GI Bill, 1940. Following World War II, the GI Bill was designed to assist veterans, but it was implemented in a way to discriminate against Black veterans, severely limiting the access to home loans and education compared to white counterparts, right? Economic inequality and redlining. Both parties have historically overseen federal housing policies that reinforce segregation, such as redlining and restricting access to financing, which created profound, enduring, and racial wealth gaps, right? The Reconstruction that never was. Historians note that the economic empowerment promised to Black Americans after slavery was never fully executed, allowing generational poverty to take hold, right? Let's go over here. Right? Now, I want y'all, hold on, I'm going to show my face for a minute. Now, I want y'all to peep the blitz on this because this is important. Because a lot of people are going to be doing videos on this, and we gotta call it out for what it is. So I say we go into the classroom, no emotion. We deal with things strategically, right? So everybody pay attention, man. Black Americans historically formed a significant faction within the Republican Party GOP after the Civil War, known as the Party of Lincoln. However, Black and tan Republicans faction emerged in the late 19th to 20th century to fight exclusion and racism within the party, as lily white factions tried to purge Black members to gain white Southern support. Initial alliance. After the Civil War, Black Americans were overwhelmingly Republican because the party championed abolition, the Union, and the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. The Lily White movement started in the late 19th century. Conservative white Republicans sought to win over white segregationists by marginalizing Black activists, leading to intense internal party conflicts and the creation of the Black and Tan factions. It was so racist, they had to go form their own. Now, the Democrats was already racist, but the Republicans were so racist, they wanted the Blacks out. But they'll never mention this kind of stuff, right? Right? The shift. The loyalty of Black Americans to the GOP was challenged by the New Deal in the 1930s and intensified as GOP moved toward a Southern strategy in the mid-20th century, which often used race-baiting politics, reversing the party's early pro-civil rights platform, right? And that's when you get into the Barry Goldwaters and all that. The lone role Black Republicans in the mid-20th century, often called the old guard, were stuck between competing with the white conservative Republicans for influence and the mass exodus of Black voters to the Democratic Party, resulting in diminished influence by the 1960s, right? So then we go over here, right? Following the Civil War, former Confederate soldiers and leaders played a key role in reestablishing and dominating the Democratic Party in the South. Now, mind you, they didn't create it, but they helped to reestablish it, right? Reestablish it, right? Prominent figures, including Nathan Bedford Forrest, a Confederate lieutenant general linked to the party, and William Rufus Cox, who recognized the party in North Carolina. Nathan Bedford Forrest was a Confederate major general who was active in the post-war Democratic Party and associate to the Ku Klux Klan, which terrorized Republicans and African Americans, to weaken their political power. William Rufus, a former Confederate infantry leader who returned to North Carolina, helped reorganize the Democratic Party and later served as a Democratic political figure. Southern secessionist leaders, many Southern Democrats, including those who had been leaders in the Confederacy, took control of the state Democratic parties to oppose Reconstruction. These individuals often aimed to restore white supremacy and reverse the political gains made by Republicans during Reconstruction era, often referred as redeeming their states. So you're gonna always have this, right? So then we go over to one more, right? African Americans did not turn away from the Democratic Party, right? See, because during the 30s and stuff like that, we still was voting for Democrats and Republicans. We would go back and forth depending on, like, after the New Deal, we went with the Democrats, right? Hold on for a second. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, let's give me 1 second. Let's doing schools is why I'm attacking. Yep. Right. So let's go. Let's go over here. African Americans did not turn away from the Democratic Party in 1964. Rather, they shifted strongly towards it. President Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a strong racist, aggressive push for the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and Republican candidate Barry Goldwater's opposition to it cemented a monumental shift, causing Black voters to align with Democrats while white Southerners began leaving the party. Right, so they've basically been dangling us on a string. Whichever party, the Republicans during Reconstruction was trying to help us out. Then they made a deal and left and pulled the troops out. And then they had the New Deal and they was giving us certain tangibles. So we went over there. So we've been running back and forth to both parties forever. So now we're upset with the Democrats again because we felt like we've been supporting them and they ain't been supporting us. So now everybody a lot of people trying to make a mass exodus. It's the same thing, but they're not going to tell you the truth, man. You're not going to get truth from these people because most of these people are not good people, right? And what happened in 1964? The Civil Rights Act. President Lyndon B. Johnson, a Democrat, signed the act prohibiting discrimination and segregation. Republicans' opposition, GOP candidate Barry Goldwater voted against the 1964 Civil Rights Act, arguing it was unconstitutional and violated states' rights. The shift, black voters saw the Democratic Party as a driver of civil rights and the Republican Party under Goldwater as opposed to the movement, resulted in an overwhelming vote for Johnson. Party realignment. White Southern Democrats, angered by Johnson's support for civil rights, began transitioning to the Republican Party, reversing a historic political realignment. So now you guys get a chance to see that we've been dangled on a string, and they've been moving us back and forth, right? The loyal black Americans to the GOP was challenged by the New Deal and intensified as the GOP moved towards the Southern strategy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you had in the 30s, we went back over to the Republicans. I mean, the Democrats at the time, because the Republicans was going towards the Southern strategy, whereas though the Democrats lied and act like they was for the pro-civil rights. So all this stuff has been a scam and a smokescreen to really rock us to really. It's been a scam and a smokescreen to really rock us to sleep, right? And most of these people not going to tell the truth because they got an agenda. And that's why I said, like, for me, I'm down the middle, because all this stuff has been full of broken promises. It's been broken promises after broken promise after broken promise, right? So Tariq Nasheed, he also spoke on this. And he came to social media. And let's get into what Tariq Nasheed said.
By the way, so that really makes the dominant society mad. But yeah, they try to punish us if we're not mascots for the Democrats. Oh, they attack. They're trying to make an example out of you if you don't stay in your place or blindly support them without demanding tangibles. They'll try to destroy you. They never run this play on white celebrities. Never. And there's a panic over foundational Black American awakening and the loss of power that the Democrats are having. See, the vitriol that's directed at Nick Cannon, that's rooted in panic. See, the Democrats right now, they are currently out of power at the highest levels. The Democrats are real desperate right now. They're desperate to maintain their traditional voting blocks. And they know that many foundational Black Americans are waking up. They're moving away from blind loyalty. They're demanding specific political agendas right now. And because foundational Black American culture is the most influential culture.
So what we get a chance to see is we've been given blind loyalty to the Republicans and Democrats, and we've been let down. Right? We was devastated by the Republicans when they took the troops out. And we had to stay down there, and that's when Jim Crow and all those different Southern strategy happened, and we wasn't protected by the government. The government didn't protect us. So then they brought in the New Deal. We was promised certain things, and we still didn't get it. Right? We still didn't get it. People were being hung from trees. All this stuff happened under the watchful eye of the Democrat and Republican Party. All of it happened under their eye. So they can miss me with the bull crap. So now what we're witnessing is the influx of immigrants coming to our communities and them not paying us no mind, allocating money and resources to immigrants that hasn't paid taxes in this country or done anything. They don't care nothing about what you say, nothing. And if you go against them, they try to cancel you.
On the planet, when a heavily visible figure like Nick Cannon speaks out against the party's racist history, that threatens to wake up millions more people. So they really don't like that. So they got to kind of make an example out of them. You know, just like they attack me all the time. All these attacks that y'all see on me, that's funded by the Democrats, family. Just a nonstop barrage. Have y'all just listened through spaces randomly and hear all these people randomly attacking me? That's Democrat shield shit. Yeah. That's Democrat shield shit. Because these people are desperate. Because you have Black people waking up,
Mhm.
and they got to find somebody to attack to make an example out of. So they try to make an example out of me. It doesn't work because I ain't.
So everybody's listening to the foundational Black American talking points and our teachings, the things that we're talking about. People waking up. People starting to say, "Man, they saying the quiet part out loud." They're saying the quiet part out loud. They're speaking. People are starting to listen. This is what's happening. This is what's happening, y'all. Let's listen to some more.
The leader of anybody. I've never said I'm a leader. So that whole we're going to attack Tariq as a leader of a lineage, which is ridiculous. It always falls flat. And it further pushes people to delineate because it shows the desperation of the Democrats. You understand? The Democrats, their tactic is to have all of their little bought and paid for flunkies to just constantly attack us online. Also, again, we've had some Democrat shills come among us at our events.
Yep.
Literally sabotaging some of our events from the inside out, or trying to, but we kind of played past that and we saw what it was and we kept it pushing.
So I'm gonna stop it right there. And I'm gonna say this, man. You know, we've had a whole bunch of lies. We've endured lies, and we've had a long and mighty walk, and we've had to fight and struggle for everything that we've got. Our grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents been through a lot, man. A lot of lies, a lot of mispromises, betrayal, broken promises from both parties. We don't have an allegiance to either one of them. But what these people are doing is they're trying to force you and shame you into doing it. And you tell them no. Bring out the receipts and show them, because when you watch Roly Poly, and I'm going to be watching him intently because he wants to see classes in session. And what he's going to do now is in the last 40 years, show what these Dems have been doing. But I'm going to counter him, and I'm going to pull out these programs that the Democrats have set up that's been colossal failures for the foundational Black American community, and how they've been responsible for the 82, the 1982, 84, 86, 88, and 1994 crime bills within the communities. And the Black clergy was complicit. I see he can play these games, but I got something for him, because they're going to come out and they're going to lie, because these programs have never been programs set in place to advance Black Americans forward. Every year we graduate students from HBCUs. How come they never matriculate back down to these Black communities? Where are these HBCU graduates at in Black Baltimore, Black Philadelphia? How come we don't see them? How come we don't see strong Black communities prospering within the communities, right? We got the money. We got the education. What's going on? We're being duped because those programs was never set in place to develop the Black communities, man. It's a smokescreen. And these people are put in high positions to keep you in those positions, man. And that's what they're doing. But I got my watchful eye on this. I haven't went live in about a week or so, but I got a couple streams coming, man. I'm just in the bushes, watching from the bushes, collecting all kinds of data and information. When I come, I'm gonna come correct. But if y'all made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.